So today I want to talk about Stoicism. Okay. And Stoicism, this is something I've been recently introduced to a little bit more. And basically, this is just an ancient Greek and Rome philosophy. Now, I don't know a ton about it, so I'm not here promoting it or not promoting it, but I've learned some cool things from it that I think apply to your weight loss journey and just to help you kind of kick ass in life in general. So I kind of want to share what I've been learning so far in regards to Stoicism and the Stoics of ancient Greece and Rome. So, one of the cool things that I've learned, so first and foremost, basically, this philosophy is based off of maximizing positive emotion, reducing negative emotion, and honing a virtuous character. That's what they're really big on, honing and sharpening your character. And one of the cool things I was reading about them was that they say misery and evil and bad things in life, they always stem from a corruption of reason. So whenever there's a corruption of reason, so basically being illogical or irrational, that's when evil can start to seep in. And reason is kind of their guiding tool. Truth, you can call it. And another word that they use for corruption of reason would be vices, right? So whatever your vice would be, your crutch, your addiction, whatever you want to call it, something you have this illogical attachment to or irrational connection to, that's what we can call your vice. And when I heard this thought, it kind of really stood out to me. I don't know if it's sticking out to you, but it stuck out to me. Corruption of reason. Think about all the things that have gone not according to plan in your life. They probably didn't happen when you were calm, or you probably didn't react very calmly. That was corruption of reason, right? And so I was thinking back, okay, where are these examples of this in my life so I can kind of learn this point practically some more? So I was thinking, when I used to own our gym, Kingdom of Iron, I have had hundreds, probably thousands of one-to-one consultations with women where they would just come into the gym, we'd sit down face to face, and we would talk about, where are they at, what's holding them back, and what are their goals. So I would have tons of conversations like this to see if they were a right fit for the gym all the time. And when I would have these conversations, I would always ask, what bad habits do you think you have? Right? Like what's stopping you? And so I would get tons of things, right? I'm like, so what do you do? What are your habits? What do you spend your money on? And I would get, I smoke cigarettes, I smoke weed, I drink a lot of wine. I get my nails done every other week. I get my eyelashes done every other week. Me and my husband go to a restaurant every Friday. Like, whatever your vice is, you can pick and choose where you go from there. I heard everything under the sun. Believe me, I heard lots. Waxing, lasers, whatever it is, ordering food in, whatever your little vice is that you cling to. And so in this meeting, what we were trying to determine is whether or not that they should join our gym. And at the time, our gym was $200 a month. Premium gym, really exclusive, awesome service, and it was $200 a month. And the funny thing is, with these people who had the most vices, or who were the most, let's say, naive to the fact that they had a vice, they were the ones that would always say, too expensive, can't do it, too expensive. And this isn't a money conversation. I'm not bringing this up as a money conversation. I'm bringing this up because guess what? I sat them down and I did the math on their vice. And guess what the cost of their vice every month was? Well, it was over $200. Imagine that. But guess what? The corruption of reason, that illogical connection we have to that one thing or multiple things, clouds our judgment, and it ruins or impacts how we make decisions. Isn't that crazy? Without a doubt, every time. And it doesn't matter if you insert reason or try to explain logically about your vice or to your vice, right? It's already creeped its way into your brain and twisted reality to make you think that that's not a problem or you don't need to look there. Because these women who came into the gym, they were ready to lose weight. They were ready to sacrifice whatever it took, except the one thing that mattered most, that thing we're attached to. So you wonder, and you have to think, how is that and where is that happening to me? How is that happening to you, ladies? Where is this cycle happening to you? Because I sat these ladies down. We looked at their finances. Boom, bam, boom, boom. Easy peasy. But it wasn't that easy. It was an emotional response, not a logical response. And the corruption of reason is going to steer you away. And there's a law, what is it called? The law of reciprocals. Basically meaning it's all about perception, right? So you can come into a situation, and you can use the gym as an example and say, oh my God, I have to spend $200 to lose weight? Holy smokes, right? That's one perception. Or, listen to how crazy this is. The other perception could be, you're telling me the only thing between me and losing weight is $200? That's it? See that perception shift? And you can do that with whatever. Just flip it. So whatever negative thought you have in your head or negative reaction, flip it into a positive. Make it the reciprocal. Flip it. And you're like, that's it? Because now what you've called a barrier, now what you thought was an obstacle, now what you thought maybe was a vice that you didn't want to tackle, now you've just given yourself permission to tackle it. So instead of sitting down and logically talking your way through it, which I have done a lot of and tried to do a lot of with women, it doesn't work. It doesn't work because you have blinders on in one area. Maybe you don't think, drinking 5 Cokes a day is bad. Maybe you stopped. Maybe you were drinking 10 and you're only drinking 5, and your perception is, well, I'm 50% better, right? But what's not using your past, not using your future, your present unbiased opinion. And it's crazy. And that was one of the coolest things that stood out for me learning this kind of Stoic philosophy is misery. Like true misery is mostly created in your own head. You corrupt the reason in your own head. 90% of misery is internal. It is just how we are viewing the situation. It is just how we are reacting to the situation, or it is just how we are thinking negatively about what our next move has to be, what we have to do, what we have to sacrifice, what we don't want to give up. What if I said that's the only thing between you and your goal? That's it. That's it. We could put a little box around it and put a bow on it, and that's all that you're missing, or all that you need to stop doing, or all that you need to start doing. That's it. That's the one thing we never question at all. The thing we never think. So what I would pose to you ladies, what are, for your goals? We can go surface level and say weight loss, or we can go deeper and say, the best version of you. I don't want to die alone. I don't want to die scared. I want to die fulfilled with no regrets. And that requires being the best version of you, right? So if that's your goal, like the ultimate goal, what are you willing to do? And what are you not willing to do? Ask yourself that. Have you asked yourself lately, what have I been sacrificing? And what am I not willing to sacrifice? You have the answers in your head right now. What will I sacrifice to get there? And what will I not sacrifice to get there? And then don't pay attention to what you will sacrifice. Guess what? Pay attention to what you've just said you will not sacrifice. Go there for a second. Look around there for a second. Explore that. Why? What does that mean to you? What have you built it up to be? What is so negative about that thing that you built a barrier around it and don't even look at it? What you're not willing to do is oftentimes the only thing you actually need to do, or the only thing that's actually holding you back. It sucks. I know. Newsflash, I know. But it's that simple. The answer is that simple. If you are listening to me talk right now, and there's something going on in your life, health related or not health related, whether you're struggling to lose weight, whether you just fell off and you feel guilty, whether that you're fighting with somebody, there's somebody sick in your family, like if there's something going on where you're not happy and it's affecting who you are, then you need to realize that anything that's affecting who I am needs to be addressed. You can't wait it out. You can't avoid it or ignore it. You have to look at it. You have to face it. And then you have to ask yourself, what am I going to do about it? What am I going to do about how I feel and what I'm thinking? What am I going to do about it? And what am I not willing to do about it? And then turn your head there. Turn your head to what you've already crossed off the list. You've already discredited. Look there, ladies. There's something in that pile. Sure. Is there stuff in that pile that you should never pick up? Absolutely. But you can't discredit the entire pile. You are missing something. There is a secret. There is a key. There is a puzzle piece in what you've already decided you're not willing to do. You're missing out. You've written it off too quickly. Why? Because we've corrupted reason. Because it feels good. Because it's easy. Because we heard it. Because someone taught it to us. Because we never questioned it before. There's something in your mind. There's a key in your mind. Everything you ever need is all up here. It's locked in there, but you have to explore it and you have to question everything. And we always question, we're skeptics by nature, right? We're skeptics by nature. We don't trust everything we hear, and rightfully so. There's lots of craziness out there. But we question the wrong things. We question everything except which we never question at all, except what we think doesn't need questioning. But let me tell you this, the thing that needs the most questioning in your life are the values and the beliefs that you think require zero questioning. Those are the ones that you need to look at the most. They are the ones that guide you, your guiding principles. They're the ones that decide what you do, how you act, how you feel, how you navigate in this crazy world. If you want to be different, you have to act different. Your principles, your virtues, decide how you act. When is the last time you've tried to change your values? Never? Right? If I said right now, what do you value? What are your values in life, right? You get honesty, loyalty, hard work, whatever you'll say. What are your values? Family, right? And they sound great. I'm like, yeah, sure, makes sense. I'm not going to tell you not to do those things, but question them. Maybe don't question what they are, but question, are they? Are you really? Are you a hard worker? Or do you just work hard sometimes? Are you loyal or are you loyal sometimes? Are you honest or are you selectively honest? Our virtues, our values, ladies, are on a scale. It's a spectrum. Notice this. You cannot say you are hardworking if you never had to work another day in your life and you'd still choose to work. Then you're hardworking. You cannot say you're faithful if you had a chance to cheat on your spouse and never get caught and still didn't do it. Then you're faithful, right? My point here is unless your values have been thoroughly tested, intentionally tested, you've put yourself in the line of fire, then you cannot identify with them. You have not questioned them enough to find the cracks to fill the foundation to build off of. If you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to change your mind. You're trying to change your lifestyle. You're trying to change who you are and in your essence. That starts with your values. You got to bring it back down. And there's been some corruption of reason happening at the value level, that very foundation. And it's crazy to think about. And some of you don't fully even understand what I'm saying yet because we've never gone this deep into questioning those things. It's like, no, I don't need to question those things. Like, that's just the automatic response. No, I don't get it. Yes, you do. I'm going to shake you through the screen. Yes, you do. You got to question. Even if you don't think you have to question it, what's the harm in questioning it then? Because you'll come out on the other end positive then. But if you just always think, maybe I'm not always right. Maybe I'm not who I say I am. Maybe I'm, maybe the person I think I am and the reality of who I am, maybe they don't align fully. And that's okay. Nobody really ever does. Who you think you are and who you actually are. There's definitely a gap, right? Usually we think higher of ourselves most of the time, and then we think really low of ourselves in bad spots, right? We don't really have an unbiased view of ourselves, do we? Because we're clouded by feelings and judgment and life. And so really take that sentence serious. Evil happens when there is a corruption of reason. Where do you find yourself the most emotional and the most irrational and the most reactive? Where is that happening in your life? Is it around food? Is it around, your spouse when they tell you to pick up your towel or wash a dish and we snap? Like, where is it? That's where your focusing needs to be. So what are you willing to do? Because that's half the battle. But the other half, the half that most women get stuck on, when we plateau and when we slip up and when we can't get back on track, it's usually not what we're willing to do. It's usually that we're not willing to do something else. We're not unlocking an area into our brain that's letting in a new outcome. A new outcome. Insanity is doing the same thing again and again, expecting a different result. If you are the same person, you will produce the same result. How are you different than yesterday? How have you changed? Or what work have you put in to try and change? And one of the easiest things to do to put in that work is to question what you've already written off you won't do or won't sacrifice or is a non-negotiable for you. Question it. Dive deeper into it, even your values. It's crazy. There's some corruption of reason happening in your mind that you need to take your time to unplug, or that will be your very downfall. Vices will always be your downfall. Look at every single, famous leader in history. Their downfall was their vice, which is a lot of the times their ego. A lot of the times they got too prideful, they messed up, and they fell from grace. Maybe your vice is your pride. Maybe it's your ego. Maybe you don't accept help. Maybe you don't take criticism well. Maybe you don't think you have as big of a problem as you do. Check yourself. Because no one else will. Trust me. That's a scary thing to do. No one wants to unleash the beast and be the person to check you. So check yourself. I mean, I will. I'll take the hit. But there's not a lot of people in life that will actually check you. Unfortunately, a lot of people are insecure and don't know how to check themselves. So how could they check someone else? They just project. So that's a really interesting thought. Another thought that I really, really liked was we have 2 ears and we have 1 mouth. You should listen twice as much as you speak. And so lately, if you're in a rut, I would say zip it. Zip it. Listen more. Listen to people in your life, friends, family, coworkers, the cashier at the grocery store. Shut your mouth and listen. Why? Well, it's going to give you a different perspective. Maybe you'll hear other people complain and that'll kind of gross you out and be like, ew, is that how I've been sounding? And you change. Maybe you'll hear someone else has it harder than you and it will make you realize, oh, no, I can keep going. Maybe somebody will be super positive and encouraging to you and that'll be contagious. Listen twice as much as you speak, ladies. That's huge. That will also give you a much greater perspective. You can spot a great leader. You know how? When they are the last one to share their opinion in a group. When they let everybody share their opinion first, then they go. That's the sign of a good leader. Have you been practicing that in your life? That is also a great way to collect all necessary data and information and opinions and make a logical decision, opinion, or reaction. And guess what that also does? Helps avoid corruption of reason. when you get a balanced review, a balanced source of information, multiple sources. So the next time you're reacting to a failure, reacting to a situation you didn't have control over, listen, don't speak, get other perspectives so that you can maintain your reason. You can maintain your calm in the eye of the storm. That is what this is about. It is not about lasting for a month or two. It is about withstanding the war. You may lose a couple battles, but your goal is to win the war. That takes endurance. You have to outlast, endure, 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 endure. Can't take anymore? Endure some more. Can't do it? Oh, guess what? You got to endure some more. Don't think you got it? Want to give up? Can't carry anymore? Can't go on? Too weak? Overwhelmed? Endure. I'm sorry. There's no other option. You've chosen to be a leader in your life, in your health, in your family. Someone has to do it. Take on that burden, endure, and appreciate it. Enjoy. You know, there's downsides to everything that you do and everything that you choose. There will always be what ifs. Grass will always be greener, always. But you have to remind yourself that where you are is okay. Where you are is better than okay. Because where you are is where you are. And you can only be somewhere where you're alive. You woke up today. You woke up today. That's a blessing. Use your mind as a weapon. Don't let it be used against you. Maintain your calm. Maintain your reason and your logic. And nothing will shake you. And you can keep going faster. You can withstand things longer. And people will just flock to you and respect you and listen to you. But you need to first fix yourself.